Yo, what is good, guys? Another castle. This time joined by someone I have no idea about, but we're going to find out. I saw some drama on Twitter about a TO making a decision that people didn't like. I reached out to... Oh, I forgot already. Kahamsha. My bad.
Kahamsha. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, Kahamsha. I reached out to them. Instead of, hitting show more in the tweet, I was like, let me get the source. Let me talk to the source. And I'm telling you, out of probably 30 people I've asked to talk about something they've tweeted, this is probably the second time someone reached back out and went, let's chat. So big shout outs to Kahamsha, first of all. But I normally deal with anime games, some Street Fighter games. So I'll let you put the spiel out there. Tell people what you want in terms of like the origin story, and then we'll get into the tweet and the reason that I reached out to you.
All right, word. All right, so my name is Kahamsha, nickname Kami. I've been a streamer technically since 2015. Didn't really take off until 2021 once I purchased my capture card and started streaming Smash. There's a bunch of games that I play. Believe it or not, Smash is not my primary esport. It's actually Rocket League. I play Rocket League, play some Overwatch, Apex. Okay. Every now and then I play some League of Legends, Paragon. Well, it's called Predecessor now. But I'm just a regular guy that just so happens to stream, and I guess recently I've had a spike in exposure due to what we're about to talk about pretty soon. Is my camera feed acting stupid, or is that just me?
I hope it has just frozen.
It froze on video on Ninja. It looks pretty fine. It's like, all right, now it's like cutting in and out. Interesting.
It's back now on my end. Audio's been all right, but yeah, the feed just went a bit fuzzy for a second.
As long as the audio is being picked up, that's all that matters. I'm not really too fond about how I look.
Respect that.
As long as what I'm saying is clear and my what I'm trying to say comes out, the way I want it to come out. So that's pretty, visually, visuals aren't really important to me, as long as I get everything across. But yeah, that's who I am. I've been streaming Smash for just over 2 years now, and I've been hosting tournaments since November of 2021. So that's a quick little rundown of who I am and what I do.
Okay, all right. So did you run tournaments for things prior to Smash, or?
Actually, no. K-Flash is my very first tournament that I've hooked up. Prior to K-Flash, I was pretty much for the
one sec. The audio's going funny this time.
Okay. Hold on. Let's see if I could do about that.
There you go. Wherever you did, it worked.
Okay, hold on. Let's close that, and then there might be some traffic going on. Let me see if I can clear up some little space I got.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, but yeah, I should be pretty good now.
Yep, back to normal.
Okay, sweet. But yeah, Cave Clash was the platform that I started that kind of elevated me to the level that I am now, prior to the events of the DQ that happened recently.
Right. Was there any reason that you started doing TOing? Did you kind of always have that in mind? Did someone say try it out and you kind of enjoyed it? Was there any reason at all?
To be honest with you, I just wanted to find a way to create a stream of, and when I mean stream, I don't mean like actual streaming, but like a source of viewership. When I first started Cave Clash, at first it was going to be like a small community Discord tournament, so like no more than 32 players at the very most.
Right.
And because at the time of the first Cave Clash, I only had like just over 100 followers. Prior to that, all I did was just stream just quick play matches, play with some people, And then I realized that I was getting more and more viewers from Smash. So I was just like, let me make a little tournament. Nothing crazy. The first tournament had like 18 people. The second tournament is where it kind of hit me, where I was like, I could probably do something with this, because they went from 18 players in the first tournament. The second one had 41, which is a huge spike, like for somebody who's at the time only had 100 followers.
Yeah,
I'm used to it now. I get an average of like 80 to like 90 people as of the past couple of weeks. But TOing wasn't something that I envisioned myself doing. If you were to ask me that 2 years ago, I would have said no. I would have said no. I'm not a competitor either, so it's like, if I were to pick between the two, leaning towards being a TO is definitely the obvious choice for me, because outside of streaming, I'm also a full-time worker, and have a family. So it's like I don't find a lot of time to practice. So TOing is like the thing that I'm comfortable doing this past couple of I guess like a year and some change. So
okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. So I guess let's get straight into it. So maybe people outside of Smash wouldn't have seen the clip I've seen. I don't know how I came across it. I was just scrolling through. I saw someone talking about someone got DQ'd for playing lane, and you might not know this, but other people do. I in the fight games I play, I like to play lane. So I got clickbaited, 100%. 100% got clickbaited. I was like, this sounds stupid. Let me watch. But again, like I said, I didn't want to scroll through, and I thought, instead of just jumping to conclusions, I'll ask you. So do you want to give us a rundown of the situation?
For the upbeat, sitting at 120%, still on that second stock, and down to their last stock already. As we approach 2 minutes of elapsed time, Hushi faces elimination here, and no, don't do that. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, bro. Bro. All right. I don't know what that was. He had 10 more seconds, otherwise I was forcing a DQ. JR making that back, sitting at 23%. That was ridiculous, man. But he killed 20 seconds on the clock. Like, what? 20 seconds. Like, I get it, it's Ice Climbers, but all right. Yep. That's gonna do it. Can't kick, right? All right, so Triara advances. That's delaying game. That's delaying game on stream. Triara will be advancing to top 8. Yeah. So all right. So it is the last game of top 32, meaning there were 7 other players that had already advanced to top 8. This was the last 2 players of the remaining 9. Mm-hmm. And it was game 2. So there was 2 players. The player that was DQ'd, his name is Hushi. He was playing Zelda. His opponent was an Ice Climbers player known as Triara, former Cave Flash winner. He's won Cave Flash 2 times. So it wasn't a person that that wasn't good at the game. So it was game 2. Triara's up 1-0, and it's about 5 minutes left in the game. Triara has just taken the second stock off of Hushi. Hushi's down to his last stock. Triara has 2. And instantly after Hushi respawns, he goes to the left ledge and stands on the ledge and leans over it for roughly between 30 to 35 seconds. Now, initially, when the clip happens, you might have. I mean, you hear my reaction. I'm saying, no, don't do that, don't do that, because my first thought was he's about to jump off the stage and just end the game. You know, now personally, whenever I don't care how bad you're losing. No, I say this even for myself. I do it sometimes. If you're losing a game, see it through. Regardless of how bad it is, just see it through. Every now and then, people may feel like they're losing and they jump off the stage. It happens all the time in Smash. That's what I was anticipating he was going to go for.
Okay.
I leaned over the ledge for well over 30 seconds, and I'm just like, all right, what's going on? Now, Treyarch also did not advance. That's something that a lot of people pointed out on Twitter, that, you know, Treyarch could have advanced. And an argument was made that Treyarch doesn't have to advance because he was up 2 stocks to 1. The truth of the matter is, and I spoke to Treyarch was actually just as confused as I was. Given the fact that it is a Wi-Fi bracket, there's a lot of things about Wi-Fi brackets that naturally do not happen in offline brackets. For example, not being able to communicate with your opponent on the spot, like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Offline tournaments, you can just turn your head and be like, "Are you good?" And, you know, whatever happens, you go back to your game.
Yeah.
Offline tournaments, you have to literally put your controller down, switch over to a keyboard, and type what you got to say. So there is a bit more time and effort that goes into communicating in an online tournament. Treyarch respectfully did not engage because he wasn't sure if, and I could be speaking. I hope you guys did not hear that. My computer's went crazy. Sorry.
Oh, no one heard that. It's all good.
All right, sweet. Treyarch, as far as I understand, was just as confused and did not approach out of respect because he wasn't too sure if Hushi was going through something on his side of the connection or if he stepped away for a bit. No one knew. But eventually he approached, and then Hushi engaged. I was like, okay, word.
Right.
Now at the time I wasn't too sure what was going on. It just looked like it looked like unsportsmanlike behavior. That's what that was the assumption I came to. Keyword at the time. Once it happened, and, you know, fast forward like another minute or so, he does it again. At that point, I'm like, okay, you're just wasting time now. And I didn't really sit through it, and I just quickly DQ'd him because he was already losing and he was wasting time. And in my defense, I looked at what was going on and said, yeah, he doesn't want to play, and there's other players waiting for this set to finish. Keep in mind, this is the last set of the phase. So it was like, you're holding up the bracket. That's kind of what my thought process was. And then after the tournament, he gets, you know, he goes and tweets it, and then I quote the tweet with the clip, and then you know the rest. That's when Twitter blew up, and it gained like 1 million views in like 24 hours, which is insane to me. Yeah. It was rough. It was rough. So,
yeah, I can only imagine. I definitely got hit by the clickbait because the most important bit of context that you've added is that the person who was playing lame wasn't winning.
Yeah, he wasn't winning. Yeah, that's
changes everything.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of, because if the game was tied or if they had the same number of stocks, I may have been a lot more lenient and would have let them play it out because, you know, there was no clear advantage, especially given the fact that they were both at 0%. It wasn't like one was at 17, other one was at 24 or something. They were both at a fresh 0%. Meaning if Treyarch never advanced in the first place and the time did wind down anyway, Hushi still would have lost. So that's kind of what went into the decision of doing that. But Smash Twitter disagreed, and I got crucified for it. So
okay, so I've only got like a small insight into Smash, other than the memes. Like, so when I think about how Smash players interpret play styles, I vividly remember like lame play styles, as in like defensive kind of keep away, gets pretty shunned. And that's not just in Smash, I think, but in Smash it seems a lot more severe. Like if someone's got like a stock life and they are visually just running away to win by time, that normally gets like, people don't like that. Or am I wrong? Is that kind of like an exaggeration, or do people really get annoyed when lane playstyles are used as a strategy to win?
Yeah, it's I can't speak for other fighting games, but definitely in Smash, whenever somebody is especially campy, like Sonic players, ironically Zelda players, Steve players, and Wario players that really depend on that really lean toward a defensive playstyle or zoning playstyle. You know, Young Link, lots of characters that have lots of projectiles like Samus. They play lame, like they camp to force you to engage so they could exploit the weakness of your engagement. How you like if you miss a like they're looking for a slip up, obviously.
Yeah,
it's lame. Yeah, a lot of people in the Smash community hate playing like that. Well, hate playing against people that play like that, and rightfully so. But the thing about that is it's an accepted and when I mean accepted, I mean like it's not something that you'll be penalized for. Yeah, people are gonna hate it. They're gonna hate it, but it's well within the accepted play styles of the culture of Smash. It's something that's been in Smash for who knows how long, generations. Maybe dating back to Melee, where some characters like Hungry Boxes use Jigglypuff being very patient and playing very defensively and really waiting for the right time to strike, playstyles like, and really slowing down the game and really disrupting faster players and whatever. So it's definitely a part of the community and part of the culture of Smash, and a lot of people do not like it. And rightfully, like I said, rightfully so. And the thing is, people that play like that, I encourage to play however you want to play, as long as you are playing the game. That's the thing that kind of makes it different in this case, because it didn't seem like he was playing the game. It felt like he was purposefully trying to troll, or hey, I'm on stream, I'm going to do this. Now, with hindsight, I've been told that's not the case. There's no way for me to prove that's what there's no way for me to prove his head what was in his head or whatever.
Right.
But as I've been told by several thousands of people, that's what the clock is for. So I had to like moving forward, I'm gonna respect that. But yeah, you are 100% right. People that play lame in Smash tend to get shunned and get ridiculed for playing a particular way, but they are well within their right to play it so.
Right. So one of the reasons I thought this topic was super interesting is because I've had takes about TOs like DQing or banning players, and normally the TOs are liked so much that people are just okay with the decision. And I'm like, I don't know about that one. One that sticks in my mind from years ago. Spooky was streaming on NLBC. This is years and years ago in Marvel, and apparently it was grand finals, I believe, and it was a pot split. Now, because it was a pot split, the two players were like, well, it doesn't matter, right? We're splitting the money. So they both made it super clear what was going on, because they both picked like pocket, extra pocket, back pocket, their mum's pocket teams, right? They were picking characters that that they've probably only done the trials for in the game, and they were playing the game. And Spooky cut the stream. He said, look, we're not doing this. This is stupid. This is dumb. You're wasting everyone's time. You've got to grand finals, and now you're kind of making a mockery of the tournament, right? And he banned the players. I thought, I don't know if that's okay, right? It's because if you wanted to stop these two players colluding or pot splitting, right? Pot splitting is not cool, obviously, but you can't, I don't think you can stop it, right? Technically, you can't stop it. If the two players are so good that they always get to grand finals, they could not pot split in front of you and just do it later. Do you know what I mean? It's not like an enforceable rule. So I saw that rule and I was like, I don't know if you should be able to DQ players for not picking their main team, because that's what it comes down to. So when I saw your thing, obviously, like I said, I got clickbaited, and I thought you banned them because the person who was winning was playing like camping or was playing lame, and you didn't like the way they were playing. But you're actually saying, no, they were holding up the tournament for no reason when they were losing. It's hard to, I guess it's hard to discern if it was a strategy or, like you said, if they're just BMing. But like you said, online, it's way harder to kind of interpolate what's going on in the player's mind. Like you said, what were some of the, if you've got any good criticisms, what was like the main criticism from people from the Smash community on Twitter about your decision? If there's no good ones, we can move on.
Oh my god. So what the biggest one that I was told repeatedly by like several people was, you're a terrible TO. That was like the first thing that I was told like, yo, you shouldn't be TOing, you shouldn't stream ever again.
Damn.
Like you're a disgrace to the Smash community. And it's like, and me personally, well, first of all, I find it all funny. I find it all funny because up until Monday, including yourself, no one here knew I existed. Like a lot of people didn't know I existed. Only people that knew I existed was my community, and maybe a couple people here and there over the internet seeing like snips and clips of my tournament, because my tournament has had the privilege to actually get featured on a YouTube channel called Yeet Smash. They're a community that they take clips from various Smash tournaments across the web, and they make compilations of particular topics. So let's say, for example, shield breaks. So they'll find shield break clips from various tournaments, and yeah. So my tournament has been fortunate enough to be featured in numerous Yeet Smash videos. So people have actually found me because of that. But prior to that, I mean, besides that, no one has really known who I am. And I've been, like I said, that was Cave Clash number 63. So it's like I've done 62 tournaments prior to that. You know what I'm saying? So whenever people were telling me, "Oh, you should never be a TO over again," I sit back and laugh, and it's like, and actually no, the funniest criticism is the fact that people think me and Treyarch were colluding to throw that game, because Treyarch is actually also part of Gradient. He's also part of GDN with me. But I'm a content creator. He's a player, so we're not necessarily teammates, but we're under the same organization. Right. And people noticed that, and they were like, "Oh, they were colluding. How you gonna support an Ice Climbers player, but you gonna hate a Zelda player?" I'm like, bro, like, and it's funny you mentioned the pot split. In that situation, I believe that is 100% wrong, because money is involved. I feel like there's money involved in any type of competition. You just, whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? You just because money comes into the situation, it's automatically serious. Yeah. My tournament is free entry and there's no prize pool, so there's no stakes. Right. There's no stakes. So when I made the decision, it's like I could risk making the decision, because like you're like at the end of like by the next day, no one's making any money anyway, including myself. Only money that I make from the tournament is whatever happens on stream. If people show up on stream and they gift subs and they donate, that's money going directly to me. But the tournament itself is not making any money itself. Which I do intend to change that in the future, but if that gets to that, we'll see. But yeah, that was the biggest criticism, was probably those two, that I'm a terrible TO and that I was colluding with Treyarch, which I find very, very funny. And there were some others that I probably won't repeat here, but a lot. I got crucified. I got crucified for four straight days, and it was interesting.
Was there anyone kind of being neutral, like not even on your side? Did you see any comments of people saying like, "Wait a minute, we don't know the full story," anything like that, or that you didn't know, from people that you didn't know?
Surprisingly, no. It was clear. It was clearly, for the most part, like I would say 98% of it was all black and white. People were either against it or with it. Now there were some people that were kind of like playing the fence, but they weren't really neutral. They were like, I understand the thought process towards the DQ, but the DQ shouldn't have happened, or vice versa. Right. Some people were like, some people were telling me like, being down the whole stock is definitely stalling, and some people were like, being down the whole stock is not stalling. Like, I mean, like, and there was a lot of conflicting opinions from both sides of the controversy. But there were, for the most part, when it comes to people being neutral or people who just weren't sure, most of it was just like people that just hated Zelda. Like there's a lot of Zelda haters that were like, I don't care what happens, screw Zelda, she deserves this, which I think is unfair. I don't think anybody should be ridiculed for the character they play, and I'm speaking for myself as well, because for example, Steve, a lot of people hate Steve. Yeah. If you play Steve, that's fine. I may hate Steve, but I won't hate the player. So it's like it's a lot of people have a hard, especially the Smash community, have a hard time separating the player from the character, and because of that, this is why Smash is considered one of the most toxic competitive games in like on the internet, because it's just there's always some type of controversy, there's always some type of this shenaniganry going on that divides the people, and the fact that I'm the next episode is actually pretty funny to me. So it's just
yeah. I've always thought with Smash it's a lot to do with the sheer numbers and the passion behind that, right? Because you got to think with other games, something like CSGO comes to mind, where it's like, a lot of these players are playing a game that's like older than people. Like some of the games are older than me. Like Melee's an old game, Brawl's an old game, right? And even to do it offline for those games, you have to put in work. So the passion shows when something around that game happens. That's what I always think about when I think of Smash players. I don't really think about toxicity. I think it's just passion. Because when good things happen with Smash, it blows all the 2D and 3D games out of the water. When they come together and they do stuff. Yeah, so to me, it's just passion. But obviously, the things that sticks in people's minds is the toxic things. That's just human nature.
100%. And unfortunately, Smash has a very has a reputation of being or having lots of toxic events happen during, like, even about or like between the announcer or outside of venues. Like there's always something in the Smash community that's just toxic, and that's one thing I tell my community whenever I get the chance, like either middle of a stream or during a VC or something, that I try to tell people that I try my best to be a content creator within the Smash space that isn't toxic, and I think that's the thing that kind of elevated my platform to where it is. Right. A lot of people, they come into my stream and they see, oh, this guy is actually a very nice dude. I'm not a dude that's gonna at least that's what I've been told. I'm not trying to like stroke my own ego or anything like that. But it's like a lot of people come in, it's like, I like your energy, like, you know, you're this or that. And during the controversy, like, a lot of people defended me in that. They're like, yo, you guys are coming too hard on Kami about this. He just made one mistake. This isn't going to define his entire legacy or whatever you want to call it, my career or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not going to, you know, because up until this point, I've received nothing but positive feedback from the people that consistently watch me, people that have known me since either the very beginning or for a couple of months. Anyone that's familiar with my content knows that I try, like, my main focus has never been about money. It's never been about being popular or getting famous or anything like that, or getting even insane clips. My main priority has always been to bring people together and have a good time. That's always been my main focus in my community. And for the tournament, I always make sure anyone who comes in the tournament, even the guys that finish 0-2 because of the double elimination bracket, even the guys that go 0-2, I like, if they come in the chat and say thank you for hosting, like, I respond back with the reciprocated energy. I let them know that, hey, look, man, I'm happy you joined, because you joining put the attendance the attendant number +1. It added 1 to, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like, I'm just a guy that published it. You guys are the ones that actually come in and actually join the event and actually play the games. So even though it is my platform, I am nothing without the players that actually step in. So that's why afterwards I did feel bad about DQing Hushi, because it's like a lot of people don't like the actions of a TO, like those type of actions from a TO. And like, from hindsight, I did learn my lesson. But to be dubbed as a really bad person is like, I just find that funny, because like, none of these people know me and they have no idea of the good things that I've done up until this point. So yeah,
I think especially on, I mean, again, I don't like using Twitter as an excuse for why people are shit. It's just a sort of like framing, right? Like, you can say, oh, there's not enough characters, but you don't need that many characters to delineate from someone doing something stupid and someone being stupid. It's not it's not a hard thing to do, right? From listening to you, unless you're telling me a bold-faced lie, which I don't think you are, there's no reason to. I don't actually see the issue. The biggest factor is, when I think of it from other fighting games, to get that many people to enter a tournament for no money is very hard in the first place. For no money in most other games doesn't happen. So there's no stakes. So the colluding part is just like, whatever. It's who fucking cares, man? Like, who cares? Let's be real. If there was money on the line, the colluding thing made a little bit more sense. I'll get my Alex Jones on it and be like, yeah, I could see that happening. But there's no money in it, so who cares?
Right, exactly.
And if the person who is camping isn't in the lead, I think the kind of scale of, are they using this as a strategy? Because I'll argue it's such a bad strategy, they probably deserve to get DQ'd. And what is being invested, not money, but it's players' times. And if that's top 32, there's a lot of people waiting around. I would say all of these other players' time is worth DQing you for. Straight up. I would have done that. But the difficult thing is, are you also doing the TOing in the background while you're streaming and commentating?
for that particular event, so 63, I unfortunately was not by myself. I think I had one other person that was helping me, but on average, I have like 2 or 3 other staff members that are helping me with TOing that, you know, do lag tests and, you know, resetting bracket, if not resetting sets if somebody reported a game wrong, stuff like that. Usually I got people to do that for me. That time I kind of had to do it myself. Luckily for me, there was a lot of issues going on up until that point. And like I said, I'm thankful. Thankfully, that didn't happen until the last 9 players of the bracket. But even still, like you said, the time of other players is being invested. There's been several times where people they join the tournament, they are playing, and then like let's say they make it to top 4, and then suddenly they need to go somewhere. Like it happens all the time. Like they got to go somewhere, and then they ask you, "Oh, Kami, can you give me real quick?" Something came up, boom. You know what I'm saying? It happens all the time. And I think the fact that he didn't communicate well, I mean, I'm speaking from hindsight now. It's very hard for me to speak about how I was feeling at the time because now there's so much time passed. But it was like the fact that there was no clear indication that this guy was clearly going for a strategic maneuver, because let's be real, I've seen the clip 100 times now. There's no way, dude, there's no point I look at that clip and think, yeah, he's definitely thinking about something. Now, did he get the approach that he wanted? Yeah, he did. Treyarch came in and then he eventually jumped and did a fair and actually ordinary, whichever it was, and landed a move and got rewarded 23% on Treyarch, which is cool. But it's the fact that he started running away from Treyarch and then he went back to the ledge a second time, and it's just like, all right, it kind of hit me. It did not feel like strategic play. It felt like, you know, when you give a kid a controller and they're just pushing buttons and they're just doing whatever. You know, you let them play because they're having fun, but it's like, we're grown folk. Like, are you gonna play the game or are you gonna act like a delinquent? Now, that was my thought process at the time, but you know, now that I've looked back and I've listened to the feedback of a lot of people that were the respectful ones, mind you, all the ones that were saying all the nasty stuff, I just laughed in their face and take what they were saying. But the ones that actually said, "Yo, look, what you did was wrong. Blah 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 blah. Here's why it's wrong." Like the ones that actually explained why what I did was wrong. Regardless of what I thought Hushi was doing, like once I got into that headspace and really thought about what I did and why it was wrong, I was like, okay, yeah, you guys are making a lot of sense. But yeah, it's very hard to come to that conclusion or to determine. Yeah, you know. So that's why I just kind of got impatient. I was like, I mean, you can see it on my face. I was sitting there like this. Yeah, and I'm just like, and then I was like, all right, yeah, he's done. So it's just I lost patience. I'm gonna be honest. You know, for those who end up watching this, I definitely lost patience and was just like, screw it. He's done. He's already losing. There's 3 minutes left. Why should I wait 3 minutes when we could get top 8 started right now? So.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm pretty like militant. I think the hardest part is the call. If they're BMing or doing a strategy, I think it's a little bit easier in other games because the time is not that big. Not that big. The time to stall isn't as long. So you might stall for 1 round, but that round won't be as long as a whole match in Smash, right? So, and like I said, not trying to, you know, like garner sympathy for you, but if you're got like you and another TO, you're streaming, you're commentating, you've got to make those decisions quickly. You've got to decide like on the spot, is this guy holding up all these other players or is he legit trying to make a comeback? Like you said, the strategy works. So there is a strategy, and even if you're behind, to lure your opponent into making a mistake and then you can capitalize off it. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. It's with the case of no money, I think it's easier to say like, look, man, like I said at the beginning, people invest in time. We're not investing money. If there was money on the line, I would be like, you know what?
Yeah, what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. Sanction, like Art of War, like do what you got to do. If that is the way you think you're going to make this comeback, go at it. Go ham when there's money on the line. If there's no money on the line, it's a weekly. Unfortunately, the whole team thing, like you're saying, it looks like collusion works against you, but there's no money to collude with. You're going to collude with pats on each other's backs for your team. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. So I think being in that situation, especially if anyone who's watching this hasn't TO'd or anything like that, it's hard. It's a very, I guess with you, because it's your stream and your face is there, but when you're TOing, it's normally like a thankless job. A faceless, thankless job that no one other than the 10 seconds after the tournament or when they go in 0-2 and they say thanks for the tournament. That's all you'll get. That's all you'll get. But it is insanely rough. Most, I'm not even gonna say Smash players, most fine game players can't communicate with 2 people, let alone a whole tournament. And you've got to be there, look for the ads, reply to them, reply to that, open up web browsers to check, like, it's long, super long. And you got to do connection tests. I would have snapped probably before that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
There's been several times where I've like, because like you said, I'm majority of the work falls on me. Like, you know, I got to get the stream ready. I got to get the. I also control the overlay as well for the the scoreboard, all that. I got to get all that, get everyone's name typed in right, all that. Like, I do all the work for that. So yeah, there are my patience. Like after 3 hours of streaming can be very, very thin. And given the fact that there is low stakes and there's no money on the line, it's very quick. It's very, like you said, very easy to make those type of decisions where at the end of the day, everyone's going to be fine. It just so happens that this one got, this one went viral and I'm, you know.
the way the Twitter was going on, I thought like you banned him from like tournaments, but like you DQ and go come back next week with a better strategy.
That's the funny thing, and that's why I laugh, because it's like everyone that went down on me is like, y'all don't even understand the full picture. And it's funny, and to comment on the colluding thing, the only, and I'm bringing this up now because no one even knows this, or at least I don't think it's public. I don't think anyone has done enough research into my tournament to know this, but the organization that I'm under, Gradient, is actually hosting an invitational.
Right.
They're hosting an invitational, so Cave Clash, along with 8 other events that happen 7 days a week, are part of this invitational. And so like the top 10 players from every event gets put into a ranking system and all that stuff. That's probably the only thing that that is on the line, I guess, because at the end of the invitational there is going to be money. I think it's going to be in June or August, I'm not too sure, but there is definitely going to be some money involved. It just wasn't in Cave Clash, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, this is one event, rankings from one event making a big difference. An event spanning from March to May, it's not gonna make that big of a difference. But even still, not this is the first time people are probably gonna hear about this. That are not within the space of Gradient, because everyone in my community knows about the invitational. Because I've been talking about it. I say this every tournament. People that watch the streams know about it, but the other 3.8 million people, whatever, yeah, they don't hear about this. But so that's why I want to bring that out just so people know. But no one knew about that. So the colluding thing is like, it's just shocking to me. I people will just say anything to paint me to be the villain in this entire story, and it's just like there's so many other things put into play that led to that decision. So it's just, you know, I like this whole thing was a learning experience.
Right.
So that's the main thing. And honestly, I take the exposure honestly as a good thing. I don't know if you're aware of who Hungrybox is. So Hungrybox ended up it was funny, it was Tuesday night, I'm streaming, and then someone posted to my stream and said, yo, Hungrybox is watching the tweet. I'm like, stop playing with me, man. There's no way Hungrybox got that, man. Hungrybox? No, there's no way, man. And then lo and behold, I join his stream and he's watching it, and then like an hour later he raised my stream. And so I'm just like, oh, okay.
Damn.
So I got a bit of plus from this. You know, everyone is getting mad at me and, you know, and shitting on me and everything, but it's like I got, I guess, my 15 seconds of fame, I guess, but it's like it was a plus for me. Now a lot of people have heard my name. I'm very excited to see how this next tournament is going to turn out, if people are going to show up or not. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not expecting people to show up, but if there's a sudden increase of people pulling up, I would not be surprised. That would be like this is only happening because of this what happened last week. So, but if it doesn't happen, you know, like I said, I only average like around like 30 viewers for stream for my tournaments anyway. So like I'm in my head, I'm still a small streamer until I see legitimate success from here on out. And if it doesn't happen, I'm still going to be who I've been up until now. I've been doing this for over a year, so it's not like I started doing this yesterday. So, you know.
Yeah, no, that's definitely respectful. It seems like you're super like reflectful. I'm not going to ask the obvious question like, oh, do you regret anything? Because that's that's lame. That's actually lame.
To answer that question, no, I don't regret a single thing that what I did, because and I said that on stream. I said I've never been more thankful to make a mistake in my life. Like, because if I did not think about it, if I don't DQ him, then you know the game ends, nothing goes viral. Hungry Boss doesn't get that video out. 3.7 million people don't see my name. You know, now the only trade-off is people think I'm the bad guy. So if infamy is what I'm gonna get, then I will take it. If it means getting exposed to this many people, because I could always take that and flip it into something positive in the future. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. What I did was wrong. Should I have done it? I'm very reflective on it, but like you said, I don't regret it, and not at all. Like my entire Discord community was actually kind of like excited that things were blowing up like this, and I was just like, and you know, I was just stressed out for like those 4 days. I was like, bro, like why are people still retweeting this thing?
Right.
This was 3 days ago. This was 4 days ago. This was 5 days ago. So it's like, but I don't regret it at all. No.
See, that's cool. I was gonna ask instead of the regretting question, but you answered it fairly.
My fault, go ahead.
Not fairly interesting. I thought it would be like a case of either no, I don't regret it because of the exposure, but it was a lot deeper than that. I think it's more of like a platform. It's a ripple effect that you can use to your advantage, right?
Exactly.
So that makes perfect sense. Or like, oh yeah, I kind of made a mistake, but you've already owned up to that. So I was gonna ask, would there have been any situation where that player would have told you that you would have accepted to let them play out? So for example, if you see them doing standing on the ledge and they quickly send you a DM saying, I'm going to make this comeback, would that have allowed you to be like, okay, he is playing a strategy, everyone's got like, would there have been like a change in your mind in terms of like DQing him? Would you have said like, look man, you're probably going to lose, this strategy is just holding up the tournament? Would that have changed your mind in your decision or not? Or
that's a good question. I think given how, because truthfully, believe it or not, there's been several times where somebody actually has DM'd me like in the middle of a set. Let's say they've taken a stock or they lost a stock and they don't move for a little bit. And I look over, you know. Now I don't know why I didn't do it that time, but like I'm like, is he okay? Or is it no, sorry, not in the middle of a set. Like it'd be like in between games.
right.
It'd be in between games, not in the middle of a set. Like so, let's say game one finishes and then I don't know if you're familiar with how the arenas work in Smash Ultimate, but like you know, you got to move your token into the arena.
Yeah.
You can move. Yeah. So, there's been times people they step out the arena and they sit out of there for like 2 minutes. I'm like, all right, so and so is not moving. Are they good? And I will go over to the chat on StarGG and I'll see a message that says using the bathroom real quick. Then I'll let everyone on stream know. All right, someone's using the bathroom. Give him a second. So yeah, had he said something like that. Like let's say prior to the set, or and this is very difficult question to answer because it's like that's like you're getting into hindsight, like super hindsight territory.
Yeah.
Had he like if there was some type of tip off that this is how he displays or something, or if I was aware like I am now, like let's say next week he does the same thing, yeah, there would be a lot more like focus on what he's doing. So if he had said that last week, I probably would have been a bit more patient because the fact that he said something.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it all comes down to. Because like I said, if this was at a LAN tournament or an offline tournament, and you know you just standing there, you could quickly be off the, are you good? Are you going to play? And then that's a quick yes or no question, and then leave it at that. I think it's the lack of communication, the lack of dialogue, and is probably what caused the division and the misunderstanding of the incident. Because I never thought about that. Because I feel like now that you say that, I feel like I probably would have let it play out and probably would have gone back to commentating on the situation and probably try to entertain chat, as you know, because chat would have been saying lame gameplay. I probably would have had something to say about it, but yeah, I guess we'll never know. You know, why was it Kanye West? I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, to me that's like the interesting part. It's like, what's the threshold in TO's mind of like someone's ruining the event or someone's legitimately trying to win the event, right? You don't really get, again, like I said, in traditional fighting games, quote unquote, you don't get that kind of way of ruining a match by stalling because rounds just go a little bit quicker. Especially with the new gen games, you don't survive more than one hit. Well, Smash is way different, way different. You could take like between like 5 and 10 combos before you die. In something like Strive, you take 2 combos, you die. So stall is not a very viable option. I don't think I've ever actually seen a timeout in Strive. I don't think I actually have ever seen it. So
wow.
Yeah, it's too much damage. You can sneeze and do 50%. It's a wild game. It's crazy. It's violent and volatile.
I gotta play Strive actually. That's been on my list for a good 2 years now. I'm not about it. I gotta try because I played Fighters and this is developed by the same guy. So I was like, I might enjoy it, but yeah, that's another thing. I feel like if he wasn't leaning over the ledge, because there is people refuse to believe this. There's body language in video games. 100%.
Yeah.
There's body language in video games. Like the biggest example is teabagging. Everyone knows teabagging, but depending on the context, teabagging could be a respectful thing or a disrespectful thing. Like if you start a game and you get comboed by somebody. Let's say you start a game and you combo somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And the combo was sick. Like it was something like, like something out of Evil or something. And your opponent starts teabagging. To me, I look at that as, all right, he's acknowledging my, like, what I just did.
It's a head nod, right?
It's a head nod. It's a little head nod, right? In Smash, leaning over the ledge in some cases is the same as teabagging. There's been places where, it's more of it's very niche. It's very niche. Let's say you kill somebody and then you run over the ledge and you lean over the ledge waiting for them to respawn. Like you're just like, oh, like it's kind of like I'm about to fall off the ledge, but I'm not, kind of thing. Like it's especially in the Wi-Fi scene. I can't speak for offline because offline on Wi-Fi Smash are two different communities.
Right.
They're two different like cultures. Like offline Smash and Wi-Fi Smash are two different cultures. For example, in Wi-Fi, unless you're in an arena, you can't taunt, so people teabag a lot more.
Okay.
It's people teabag a lot more online, like in matchmaking, compared to in an in-person tournament. In an in-person tournament, they're just gonna hit the top button. They're gonna hit the top button, and the top button is disrespectful, but not as disrespectful as the teabag. Because the teabag is a universal video game thing.
Yeah.
So when I see him come off the platform, like he respawns, he comes down, he goes straight to the ledge and starts hanging over the ledge. To me, I'm seeing, okay, he's trying to send a message here. Like this is not competitive, because he goes and he goes over the ledge. He's not leaning over it for a second, and then he makes sure he starts leaning over it. He made sure he was leaning over the ledge. That's the thing that kind of like, if he was over there like running back and forth and spanning some moves or movement or options or whatever, then it would have, because there's levels to this thing. If it was like doing whatever, and I would have been like, okay, he's just trying to create a safe space, a pocket where Treyarch can't advance. But he completely turned his back. Turning his back to a fighter is, I think, is crazy. And leaned over the ledge for 35 seconds. Now, there's no way you could look at that and think that's competitive play. But that's what he said it was. Timer is still running. There's a stock differential disparity between the two of them. So looking back, me stepping in was the wrong thing to do. But yet, his body language did not scream out to me, I'm still trying to play. It screamed out to me as, well, let me waste everybody's time. I'm going to lose anyway. That's just,
that's another point. No, honestly, you said it, and obviously, like, it rings true in my head. Like, yeah, I've seen this before. When I've seen online tournaments, there's language in the non-fighting part, right? So there's like a way you can tell your opponent the match is laggy without sending them a message. Like, in a DM.
Right. Yeah, matter of fact, it happens all the time.
Yeah, so the way they move, you can tell what they mean.
Immediately, both players, this is what usually happens when both players are lagging. Immediately, they will go to the opposite ends of the stage, both turn their backs to each other, and do random inputs, maybe taunts like crazy, and then once they both feel the connection is good, they both teabag. That has always happened. Whenever both players are teabagging, that's kind of like the nod to each other. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, let's get back to fighting. There was no, and if you look at the clip, there was none of that. Treyarch was kind of confused. He didn't teabag enough, and he was just kind of and he was just leaning over the ledge.
Yeah, he was static, right? He was He was just literally just sitting there.
Exactly. He could put a controller down for all we know, and there's no way to prove that. So it's like there wasn't any communication between either side, and it has caused a massive confusion, which led to impatience, which led to, all right, you're just wasting time. So then, boom, DQ. And if I was put in the same situation again, without the hindsight I have now, I would do the same thing. And it's not about the Zelda player. It's literally about, it could have been any character. It could have been my main, and I would have still DQ'd them. So it's like, it wasn't about who the character. And I'm jumping all over the place, but that's one thing people keep coming at me about. They're just like, oh, you just hate Zelda players. I'm like, no, this has nothing to do with Zelda, man. This is it's a player issue, not a character issue. Like matchups, I don't care about matchups in a tournament setting when I'm the TO. It's just, are both players actually playing the game to win?
Yeah.
If you're not playing to win, then you're gonna have to go, my boy. You're gonna have to dip. So that's just how I kind of like looked at that situation.
Yeah, I think like talking to you, understanding a bit more of that, the situation, the context around it, which is always important. Reflecting on things that I knew but didn't really apply to the clip, like the language that players speak when they can't DM or talk to each other. It feels like just online needs different rules for situations like this.
Yes.
And they're just, no one's written them up. We just kind of assume this is what this means. This is when a teabag's good. This is when a teabag's bad. Like what you said, it's not been written down. There's no wiki on when to teabag. So we've all just kind of we've all used our best judgment to understand what that means, and that's what you do as a TO in that situation. You use your best judgment and had to weigh up players, your time, their time, to is this a strategy that he's pulling off? And then you've also said, and I think everyone would agree with this, if you had knowledge that that was his strategy, you'd have been okay. Then let's see if my if his opponent falls for it and gets baited. But with the visual that was presented to you, like you said, the running backwards and forth is different to just hanging off the ledge.
Yeah,
running back and forth, even to me who doesn't play Smash, that would be more like, I want you to come to me. I'm being patient. When you're on the ledge, I'm like, I mean, that makes it a better bait because I'm less sure. Do you know what I mean? But if my opponent's not moving, I'm like, I don't think my bait's working anymore.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like after 15 seconds and nothing's happening, like something's got to give. Now, Treyarch eventually moved over. He moved forward, but the engagement doesn't fall on him because he's the one winning. You know, like in the game of in the world of sports, you know. This happens in, like, for football, for example. Last 2 minutes, the team that's losing has to save their timeouts.
Yeah.
Right. The team who's winning doesn't need to use their timeouts. They could just, you know, they can use them strategically to throw off the game of the other opponent. But their main focus is to kill the clock. You know, they want to kill the clock because they're winning. They no longer need to score. They no longer need to score. All they got to do is stop the other team from scoring. The team that's losing, is up to them to change the score of the game. They're the ones that they need to advance. If the team was losing, suddenly stop playing the game, what do you think the refs are gonna do? They're not gonna. They're like, the refs are not gonna. They're not gonna sit there and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different when the winning team is doing it. When the winning team is doing it, they're winning. They want the game to end, so they're gonna kill as much time as possible. Same thing with basketball. And winning team is winning. They're gonna dribble down the court slowly. They're gonna use 7 seconds going down to cross the half court line. They're gonna use all 24 seconds on the clock. You know, they're gonna take the shot 2 seconds left on the clock. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna stall. They're gonna stall. Losing teams are gonna, no, we don't have time for this. We don't have time for this. So it's like, that's kind of what went to my head, because I come from a traditional sports background. So that's what went into my head when that was going on. It's like, dude, you're the one that needs to approach.
Yes.
You know, you're not approaching. You're the one holding the game up. Like, everyone's looking to you now, because Treyarch does not have he can sit there if he wants to. Treyarch can sit there if he wants to, because he's winning. The other person, not so much. But like you said, had he been doing some inputs or something, you know, I still would have been like, all right, is he okay? But it wouldn't have come off as he's trying to waste time. It would have come across as he's playing neutral. He's playing safe.
Yes.
Excuse me. He's playing his game. You know what I'm saying? To me, that was not him playing his game. And so unless I could see 4 or 5 different clips of him in different games doing the same thing, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna believe that reasoning. But like I said, it doesn't matter. In hindsight, he was losing anyway. The right thing for me to do in a situation is to let time run out, let them play. Because if neither stock is lost by the clock hits 0, the game decides itself anyway. So that's something that I did not take in consideration when I was doing Mac was making my choice. But at the same time was of the essence. 7 other players were waiting to get their game started. So that's But that's pretty much where that came from.
Yeah, no, I think kind of like to wrap up. There's definitely a difference between. I always say this kind of more on in terms of players trying to get better. You can play a match to win, or you can play a match not to lose. And in that situation, one player who's got the lead plays not to lose, so they will try to do less mistakes. But a player that is losing has to start doing things to make them win. And those two strategies, although they're trying to get the same goal, look very different visually and mentally when they're trying to apply it. And then to go on what you're saying about kind of weighing up how you make the decision, I think it's pretty noble that you prioritize people's time, because you can't get that back. No Matcherino is going to give you back time.
Right.
So I think it's from a noble position to do that. It's weird how everyone's mad at you for doing that. I guess again, like I said, the clickbait, if he was losing and if he was winning and he did that, it would feel like you was discriminating against a playstyle. But I got the context. That's not the case. Now I'm like, well, the only reasonable logic to what you did was because you wanted to stop someone wasting other people's time. So I can't see how that's a bad thing. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, and even now, I feel like that type of mindset is appropriate, because I do genuinely believe there are still going to be those type of players that pull up anyway, that actually legitimately realize they're not going to win, and they may take this time to just be a troll on stream. I do believe that's still something that could happen, because it could look identical to this. You know what I'm saying? I do intend to meet up with my staff to see if we could put a rule in place. The most likely thing to happen moving forward, if you might reduce the time from like 7 minutes to 5 minutes or something like that, so that it really forces engagement to happen. Because an average game in Smash is usually around 4 minutes. That's like the average.
Okay.
Like the average length of a really like a game that comes down to like the last stock, like 3 minutes and a half, 4 minutes, 4.5 is pushing it. Like at that point, that's when people start to say, "Yo, this game's taking a while."
Right.
So that may be something that I may have to do in the future. But I still want to be able to protect the integrity of the tournament in the sense that when people hop in here, they know they're not going to get somebody that's deliberately throwing. And if they do get somebody that's throwing, then action will be taken swiftly, and the person will be rightfully, and I say rightfully with the intent to actually make people understand this, rightfully be DQ'd. My DQ on Hyushi was not rightful. It was not legitimate as much as I thought it was at the time. I understand now that I shouldn't have done that because of the circumstances of that particular game. But I do want to enforce action to be taken on players that are being for unsportsmanlike conduct, and just people that are not there to actually compete. They're just trying to disrupt the event. And I wouldn't be surprised if this happens this coming week. People just pull up just to do that. You know, the internet's full of trolls, so I would not be surprised.
Yeah, like I said, it's commendable, but I think now people are going to do it for science, right? They're going to kind of test your conviction and see how far they can push the rules. But
exactly,
I think that's pretty much all covered from my perspective. Someone who doesn't know about the community that well, someone who literally just saw the clip, watched the clip, and wanted to talk to you to find out more information. If I can understand it, I think people from outside the scene, and especially in the scene, could kind of get a bit more context to what happened, why you did it, what you're going to do moving forward. Could you even explain that? I don't know if there's anything else you want to drop, but obviously before you do that, all the descriptions of your stuff I'm going to get from you, put that in the link. I'll probably put the clip near the beginning of the podcast so people can have context from what the people on the Twitter end saw. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to drop, my dude, feel free.
Actually, yeah. So roughly about an hour before I hopped in, I uploaded an official apology to Yushi. It's on my YouTube channel right now. I think as of today, I'm like officially moving forward from all this drama. Like just kind of like puts a cap on all of it, like ties everything as a nice little bow. I guess people could always ask me questions directly, but in terms of addressing it on Twitter or anything like that, I'm kind of like done. But yeah, my official apology is out on Twitter. Registration for Cave Clash 64 is open as we speak. And it will tournament will start at 2:30 Eastern time on Sunday the 16th. And that's pretty much it. I have I guess I could do a little shout outs, I guess.
Yeah, go for
it. Shout out to everyone in the Kami Cave. I appreciate y'all for the support. Shout out to my boys on PS5. I don't know if they'll be watching this. Fed Boys, Six Stack. Y'all know who y'all are. I'm not gonna say y'all names, but y'all know who y'all are. And all my staff members: Akuma, JKS, Gloop, Insanity, Hushi. I apologize, man. Shout out to Hungry Blocks, man, for the exposure. I mean, I don't want to sound cocky, but shoot, that was awesome. Yeah, shout out to all the haters too. Every last one of y'all. Like, no, seriously. Shout out to every one of them, because look, I'm fueled by it. I'm fueled by disagreements. I'm fueled by hate. I'm fueled by not controversy, but just whenever somebody feels like I can't do a certain thing, I'm fueled to prove them wrong. Even if I don't prove them wrong in the end, I'm just fueled to just go out and try to do it. So lately, the past couple of weeks, I've been feeling a bit unmotivated because I've been caught in the routine of doing this every single week. But now it's like that I found I have some newfound excitement about all this. So shout out to the haters as well. Shout out to my folks, my parents, my siblings, all of them, my friends, Abby and Travis. If you ever see this, I love you guys. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool, man. I think I've noticed that people's attention span kind of fades away after an hour, so I try to keep it. I don't know how for you guys.
That's fair.
I'll do this one properly. I'll also try and push us out one. I'll try and push us out a little bit quicker, just because you want to get over and done with. I don't want to upload this 2 weeks later, so it kind of brings it back up. So I'll try and get this out as quick as possible. I'll drop the thumbnail so people can like skip to the parts if they just want to know the context, what you're doing next time, all that sort of stuff. I'll do that. But again, man, much appreciated for you to talk about the situation instead of hiding or just like tweet arguing people. Again, I'm on like a journey in the FGC to find people with backbones. I can officially say you've got one. I found someone who's got the balls to talk about what they think and clear up the situation, man. It's again much appreciated. Thanks so much, my dude.
C4 was it? I appreciate you, man. I really do appreciate what you do, man. Like, this is like that. You got my respect to be able to give me a voice to give out my opinion without distractions or interruptions or anything like that. You're a goat, man. I appreciate you.
Definitely, man. Much appreciated on both sides, obviously. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend I'm not massive into Smash, but I'll keep an eye on your content, because beyond the game, you as a person seem cool, and I kind of understand your energy, especially when it comes to like people hating you, fueling you. So I'm interested to see how you react to the reaction of other people. I think that's going to be super interesting for me to see. So hopefully we get to do this again one day. Maybe have you on as a TO, because I think your perspective on how you've grown and what you're trying to achieve is very interesting. Not many people do. Like I said, having that size tournament with no prize pot, a lot of people would think like, what's the point? So I'm definitely interested to pick your brain at some other point. But again, I'll try and push this out as quick as possible. Everyone in the chat, links below if you want to follow. What was the tournament called again? Cave Clash.
The Cave Clash.
Clash, yeah.
Well, Cave Clash Weeklies. Yeah, that's the name of the tournament.
Yeah. All that will be below, and if you want to follow Kahamsha on the Twitter, that will be down there as well. But until next time, you guys, take it easy and peace.